What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is a beautiful day here. It's also like 85 degrees, which isn't crazy hot yet because it gets to like 105 degrees here on a regular basis, but it's still pretty warm, and we're welding today, so it's going to be extra warm. I'm not welding in this. Got a little shirt to go over so that I'm not blasting myself with sparks or getting myself sunburned, or weld burned. What are we working on today? We're working on a bumper. We're getting this thing outfitted. Over the last few days, we dialed in the suspension. We got the steering all set up. We've done all of those things. This thing is getting very close, so super excited about that. It's time to get the bumper welded up and the radiator cross member down below, the skid plate, radiator cross member, whatever you want to call it. So gonna make that happen today. It is a DTill fab bumper. Daniel Till makes these, ships them out of Florida. I personally love the bumper. I love the style of it. I like something that's got good clearance. It doesn't look like a massive truck bumper, and a lot of the WJ bumpers to me look just overbuilt and too big, and maybe that's for some people, a certain style. If you've got stock fenders or something like that and you're not cutting them out, they kind of go well with that, but with the amount of trimming I've done to this already, those bumpers aren't going to match up with any of the body lines on the Jeep, so no point in doing something like that. Wanted something that was really streamlined and something that tucks the worn winch. We have a Zeon 10 going in there, so we're going to get to welding on that. Stay tuned, let's check it out, let me know what you think. Yeah, if you got comments, questions, let me know. Let's make it happen. Alright, so just unbox this thing and you can kind of check it out here. So again, DTill Fabworks, really nice job, all of this stuff, 1/4 inch steel, really beefy, really like it. I opted for the DIY option, which means I'm going to weld it myself, so it comes unwelded. First thing I'm going to do is just the points where it's got to be welded. I'm going to do a little bit of grinding. There's always a little bit of mill scale on this stuff, and that kind of creates sometimes a more difficult time getting a nice clean weld, and we want a nice clean weld, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time cleaning this up. Really like how the kit looks. I'm going to need a minute to try to figure out exactly how it all goes together. Daniel sent me a really nice set of instructions. I'm going to show you that here. So just kind of walks you through. Obviously this is the finished piece from the back side. Makes it pretty easy to see what you have to do and how you're going to put it together. I have all the pieces here, so there we go. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to start by cleaning up the edges of this. I'm going to take a minute to familiarize myself with each one of these and just kind of how all the pieces are going together. Then I'm going to grind it down and we're going to get started to make this happen. This looks great. It's kind of hard to tell because the black is kind of in a shadow sitting here by the garage, but I like the way it's tucked back. The headlights are in there loosely, but they're in there. I know one of the things Daniel at DTill Fab said is to make sure that you kind of get your headlights mocked up. Obviously I'm kind of reassembling everything here in the front anyways. So to make sure that you have your headlights mocked up before we get the sidebars on. So there's 2 tubes, and I can't do it with the camera right now, but there's tubes that go in on the side here that kind of block the headlights from any bashing. So the grill took a little bit of cutting out. It's funny too because I just paid like $100 for that header panel, but it was missing all these tabs on the top. They were all broken off just from being, from being old and from hitting things and whatever else. So those tabs are needed. Chopped off. There's a tab that is right here that got chopped off. I'm gonna trim that up a little bit more now that it's on so I can see it. Not really that it's a big deal, but it's looking good. I like it. Now what I need to do is I'm going to check where I marked the holes. There's holes inside here on the inner side of the frame rail where this little piece is on both sides. So drill those out to 1/2 inch. The warren's sitting in there and it's nice and snug. I have it totally aligned up right now, but it is for the most part aligned up in there. So get those inside bolt holes drilled. Get these sidebars mounted on here. We're going to mock them up while it's sitting on here. I may attempt to try to drill those holes out while this is on here because it's not the easiest thing to do by myself. So get those inside holes drilled out, get those bolts through, make sure it's where it needs to be. Get the tubes on both sides, mock it up, final weld it, get it painted, and then do a final installation, and we're all set here. So like I said, there's some trimming here. Obviously there's a piece behind the grill, there's the piece behind the grill, and then there's the header panel. All of that needed to be trimmed up quite a bit to clear the worn winch. I guess it may be different depending on what winch you have. Maybe you don't need quite as much trimming, but I know the Warren's a pretty low profile winch overall. It's not a big bulky thing, so I think it's probably minimal trimming anyways, but it's required because you're tucking the entire winch right back there. So let's get on to next steps. That's a wrap for today. I think we've done a ton of work. We've got this stuff out here drying. Had to repaint that a little bit, and we got the bumper out here. Sprayed it myself. I'd love to, at some point, do some powder coat, but for right now, we're in a hustle. Spray paint works just fine. It's kind of hard to see it with the paint that's on the cardboard behind it, but super excited about that. Gonna let that thing dry. Gonna get some of this other piece built. Gonna get moving on the cross member for the radiator. Sorry, I'm like hustling and trying to figure all this out. So gonna get that going. That's the next thing we're gonna unpack. But for today, I'm done for today. I might do a little bit of that. We're gonna call it a wrap on the episode. I appreciate you hanging out. This thing's gonna be running by this weekend. So coming up next couple of days, we're gonna wrap up the gas tank in the back, getting the skid plate all situated, getting the gas tank back in it, making sure that we've tucked the evap system out of the way. get this front bumper back on, get the winch mounted, get those wires run. I need to do a little something with the rear bumper. I haven't exactly decided what yet, but we're gonna do something. I need a receiver hitch back there, so we're still playing around with that. But I'm gonna knock this out over the next couple of days. I appreciate you sticking with me. If you got questions, leave them in the comments below. If you got suggestions, put them in the comments below. I'm always stoked to hear what you guys have to say. I appreciate your support. I love you, and I'll see you next time.